G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a musket. Just kidding, not today. This is a Grau 5.56. It's a Call of Duty weapon from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, ported into Fallout 4, complete with custom sounds and animations to go along with it. The Grau 5.56 is based on a real-life firearm with some artistic liberties taken, called the SG552 Commando, which was a shorter barrel version of the SG 550s. They're all Swiss-made rifles developed during the 1970s and 80s, and from the 1990s onwards, this thing has been in service, primarily with the Swiss Armed Forces, but has been exported in limited numbers to other countries. The SG in this thing's namesake stands for Sturmgewehr, because this weapon is produced by Sig Sauer, so obviously it's got that German origin. The numbers that come after it are just to designate this model from older models of Sig Sturmgewehrs. I think there's been a few SIG 550 series rifles being released online on the Nexus already, but up until now, we haven't got any COD-flavored versions, so we'll see how these things go. And ironically enough, I think there's another one that contains the same weapon port, so that'll be a fun little comparison to make, but we'll space them out a little bit, I think. We can't do two SIGs in a row. But before we get caught up in modding drama, let's just put that aside and look at the Grau 5.56 as it is. So, starting with the attachments, we've got the receivers, and for some reason, we're pulling 3300 DPS with the standard automatic receiver. I think that fire rate stat right there is bugged. We shouldn't be getting that much out of a standard one, so we'll scroll all the way down. You'll notice how there's only auto receivers available for this thing, and if we go for the auto advanced receiver, that'll give us 9000 DPS. Well, either this thing is totally broken or just the weapon card here not working properly. We've got a legendary effect provided by legendary modification, and you can change the barrels, which I suppose if you put a longer barrel on this thing, it is no longer the carbine version of the SG550. So this one here gives me a massive amount of range. It's the longest barrel that there is, so we'll throw that one on because stats-wise it is superior. And as we've been so rudely shoved over into the sights thing, let's attach some on. So you get standard iron sights and a bunch of home brand Call of Duty legally ambiguous sights you can attach to it, including small reflex sights getting into the larger holographics, and there's even versions of these with a magnifier on, which I think is kind of neat. And there's even this longer scope down here, 4.4 times magnifier, just a smidge over your standard vanilla game short scopes, but I think that's going to be a good balance of medium range accuracy and not being overwhelmed by this thing's recoil. So that's a pretty cool scope option. But what I want to do is chuck on a big old reflex sight, the EOTech looking one. There's also an option here for a version with a sight on it. Ooh, maybe I wanted to use the one with the magnifier. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll use that one. And now there's a skin here. We'll come back to that one. I think that's not working properly. But now we go over to the muzzles, which appreciate you can't see, so one moment. So these muzzles include Standard, Archangel, Nexus, Season, Squall, Compensator. There's a flash hider here as well. Muzzle brake, all recoil control devices, I'm sure. And there's even a suppressor, including an oil filter. ATF is knocking at your door. Objective, protect your dog. That I will. You must always protect your dog from the feds. Now, the suppressors here are fairly good, and apparently we're getting 11,000 DPS from this. It's hard to resist, but yes, it's boosting my damage a little bit thanks to Ace Operator, and that's going to make it very strong indeed. On your underbarrel, you can attach some of these foregrips, stubby, angled, and longer foregrips. Pick what you think looks cool. We'll go for a Merc foregrip on this one. Got something to hold on to as this thing's firing in full auto. And you can change the pistol grip. This one's more flavor. You won't be able to see it as much, even in first person, but it's a cool thing. They'll probably offer you more stats and differences in Call of Duty, but I'm not going to say no to a little bit of extra customization, even if it is for just a little bit of flavor. Next, you've got the magazines. You can have a standard mag, a 50-round magazine, or a 60-round big old casket magazine. That's cool. It's going to make me fire from Monday to Sunday and still have enough bullets left to kill a couple of super mutants. So good ammo capacity for an automatic rifle. Now, we go over to the stocks. You can have a standard stock, none, which appears to be, well, I thought it'd be folded around, but no, that's completely removed. There's also this one and this FSS Blackjack. I'm feeling lucky. We'll throw that one on. And for your reload style, you can speed it up a little bit if you use the Sleight of Hand perk. the COD Porter bros are gonna hate me because I've already got a faster hands reload perk happening, so it's going to be even faster. So that time they spent on the animation will be wasted, unfortunately. There's also an extraneous damage slider here. You can't decrease the damage, only increase it. But 267 for an automatic rifle with this fire rate, I think will be just fine. And I think that pretty much covers it. Except for that. Okay, so now the skins are working, and this is probably a me problem because I'm a Nexus mod manager boomer. I have 3 mods listed with the exact same name. I just missed on the version that actually gives you the skins. So here they are. So here's N-Venom, there's Prototype Alpha, Alablaster actually includes that longer barrel in there, and a German flag, if you please, a Mortal Coil, Wolf Mother, cool Australian band, Steeplechase gives you a bit of a Vault-Tec color with the yellow and a little bit of blue there, also included on the longer barrel. Motherload, which gives you a bit of gold, sort of missing out on most of that with this setup. Ufaga, which is, I don't know, Lovecraftian, I feel like. There's also a pink version as well. And lastly, Going Bark. It's a little doge there. Bravo 6 Going Bark. Yes, very witty indeed. And what am I going to pick? We'll go Mortal Coil. Add a little bit of red into it, but not too much. Oh, actually, maybe this one, because it actually includes the barrel. This weapon can be crafted on a chemistry workbench, so find weapon MW Grau 5.56, and it demands the sacrifice of an assault rifle and these materials to create, plus gun nut rank 2. Pretty easy choice, to be honest. Okay, so here we are outside of Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here's a sniper status version. I've given myself fake through scopes, so they're like see-through scopes, but only the scope part of the screen actually magnifies, which is some black magic that has been put in the face of the creation engine that I cannot comprehend. But you can zoom sort of in and out. But the see-through scope version of this thing didn't have any magnification, so I went through the fake through scope approach, and I don't regret it. Anyway, so here is our SG 550 in many different forms in third person now, and that's what it looks like. You'll have a reload animation. For the reloads in third person, since the tactical reloads don't tend to work in third person, you'll be pulling back the charging handle every time, at least that's what it looks like. But if you reload with a bullet in the chamber, you don't have to hit that bolt catch release thing between your magazines, which is cool. Recoil on this thing is very, very COD mild, so we should be able to stay on target pretty easy. And the damage that we're getting from this thing, I mean, the DPS I think is a big fat lie, but I think we'll be just fine utilizing this thing. So let's have a look at the other one. So this one is, it's a gold version. It's gold. I've got all the attachments set up to have that gold texture on, except for the foregrip there. There's no grips on this thing that actually include any of that gold, but it looks like this. For the COD bros out there, that's what the iron sights look like if you're interested. Although you've already seen it in Call of Duty. And this is the ultra mega close quarters version with the stubby barrel and the little doge on the side, because Shiba Inus, they're cute. I'd have one, but maybe not now. Anyway, so let's begin, and we'll start off with using the sniper status version, because this one is going to kick a lot of ass, I think. We'll zoom right into our target. It's actually going to trip me out a little bit when I'm using this thing, because I feel like that despite this being possibly more realistic and immersive, like, I'm not used to this. The muscle memory of having the entire screen chip in. Also, it's going to make my twitchy mouse hand even worse. It might be a little bit nauseating. We'll see how I feel. If it's a little bit too much, then refrain from using it in the future. But I do think it's a rather interesting little add-on that you can do. Also, the scope sort of blinks out when you use it as firing animations, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Looks like we are gathering some good old-fashioned gun food damage here. We'll be able to knock that one's block off from down here. Excellent. Okay, so as expected, sniper status version of the SIG SG 550. Very strong indeed. So now that we've got 0 AP, let's throw a new magazine in and we'll charge in with our suppressed version. The damage won't be quite so flattering, but with the amount of recoil that we're not having to deal with, I guess, and the DPS of this thing. Oh, hello. a little bit over my head here. We can just, we'll pie this. We'll only ever step out of cover for exactly what they need, and they won't rush me. In fact, they're in the habit of sitting still and just sort of taking the bullets in the face. So things are going pretty swimmingly so far. We kind of expected this with the amount of damage it was giving me. It's a slightly over your vanilla game stuff. Even your handmade rifles don't hold a candle to this thing. So we'll dial it back a little bit. We'll use our super gold version. I don't know what it is about this reload animation, but it is really smooth. Is that like a 120 FPS reload animation? It certainly feels like it, but that's one of the smoothest reloads I have ever seen in my entire life. That's brilliant. I realize I haven't used this thing much in standard VATS yet, so let's bring out our close quarters edition and see what we can do. We'll have to get nice and close to see this thing's full accuracy, but for an automatic rifle, that's pretty respectable, especially when your shots do that much damage per 3-round burst. Yeah, so it's safe to say that we just kind of crushed everything with this thing. For balance, I think you could argue it's a little bit too much. A way to fix that, other than like changing the mod and rebalancing everything, is just offering lesser damage on the extraneous damage sliders there, just to reduce it a little bit if you feel like it's a little bit too good, which you could argue it is. But on the other hand, like, we're getting COD-like time to kill on these guys. Well, slightly closer to it. Not exactly one-shotting people or, you know, 2-3 shots to kill at a close quarters with a couple of headshots, but it's a little bit closer to your time to kill, so maybe it's for players using this on lesser difficulties, because I'm playing on very hard, which already slashes my damage in half before you factor in enemy damage resistance. If you're using this on, say, normal and with that amount of damage, it'd probably be like more of a COD Twitch shooter experience. But when you've got as high a level as this current character, Vikkie, you kind of get really tanky, like 1400 health. So you don't have to worry about armor. You just soak up all of that. By the way, this is a Atomic Widow endorsed outfit here. It involves a bunch of things, including the shoes even in a cool leopard print. Didn't want to waste this on a musket. That's why I didn't choose the musket today. We went for the COD port. And it looks like this thing can be utilized with classic holstered weapons as well. That gold one looking pretty nice as an apparel piece, I must say. Okay, outfit change. I've taken the glasses off because they don't allow me to save. I don't know why it happens when I'm wearing anything in the glasses slot, but it just doesn't work. So, sorry, those cool aviator things, they have to go bye-byes. Like that super mutant, for example. Okay, so there's a man down there, or a big super mutant man down there, and... wow, okay. He just took all of that magazine. Just absolutely wiped the floor with him. I think with, like, constant headshots, that would have been... That definitely would have been a one-magger, but wow, okay. It's pretty strong. You can see that, right? Okay, let's cheese this a little bit with VATS, shall we? So, let's just shoot these mosquitoes and whatnot. And now that he's all by himself... Oh, the AP usage is fairly similar on the longer-barreled variants. Anyway, so basically eat all of the crits that I have at my disposal. And then... we hip-fire him. Don't need a laser sight on this one to keep this thing dialed in. Okay. Enough cheese. Let's challenge ourselves a little bit. Okay, here we are in the adjusted for visibility glowing sea, and as you can tell from the outfit, we've put on some sensible shoes to navigate the unstable terrain of the area, and I suppose the reason for this is, I don't know, maybe it's the same outfit that Vikkie used when all of the Nuclear World girls went out to clubbing in Good Neighbor the other day, you know, because Carla decided to fight everyone in her going out gear, so maybe Vikkie did the same thing. Anyway, so there's some ghouls, and looks like I've baited him to his revival animation, so I might be able to pick up some potential allies here.
Right there.
Not quite. Alright, what about you?
Stop.
Nope.
Calm down.
Nope. And I think I've struck out against all of them, so we'll just use this moment to shoot them. Now, are you going to do that again, or do you have to wait a little bit? I'm not really sure. Let's add some criticals in the mix. And make sure we don't get punched in the face by him. Nope. Nope. And a reload would be great too, by the way. Okay. This guy's right up in my grill, but we managed to get a nice little crit streak with a whole magazine into his face, but it's only going to get a little bit more difficult from here because, well, we're up against the insectoid population. So what I might do is head across to a different part of the animal kingdom.
Nice. Giant scorpion.
And attempt to acquire some allies. So,
Just do what I say. You're coming with me.
hello, Mr. Rad Scorpion. We'll call you Randy. You're my new
You're
pet.
coming with me. I'm done with you.
And look at him. He's got a little skull on his face, and he's got like a shit zillion little eyeballs. And look at him. He's just vibing out here in the glowing sea, just absolutely loving life. So I gotta keep him alive. He's the little escort mission. So it'll be a grudge match. It'll be arachnid and mammals versus the insectoids. Now listen here, Randy. I understand that between our kind, there's probably a lot of bad blood. You with all of your freakishly 8 legs and us with our only 2. But we've got to put our differences aside because today we're fighting an even bigger threat called mosquitoes. The biggest killer of humans ever. You could kill people for 1,000,000 billion years and you'll still not have as much of a death count as these mosquito bastards on humans. So we're going to put aside our differences and get this done.
You, here, now.
Okay, so the game plan here is to firstly kill all the little ones, and then we'll move on to the big one right there. And once he's close enough, we'll stick our Red Scorpion friend onto him, and then we'll try to kill him. Now, are you going to actually put some body contact on him, or am I going to tank all of this for myself? Okay, well that worked. And ooh, don't try to grapple during a reload. It'll go into absolutely nowhere. Okay, I've got a plan for this. So what we'll do is we'll sit here and then go for some bash damage. I think he's way too fast for me normally, but if I pay him absolutely 0 respect and just get up in his grill, what are you gonna do? He's going to switch targets. Ah, yes. Okay. We have found the breaking point, and that is Nerd Rage. Let's hit him up with every single crit that I have. Every crit that I have in the book. Every single gun firing on that man right now. Pay him absolutely 0 respect. Get right up in his grill, and he can't handle the pressure. Mr. Rad Scorpion, he's done a good job, and I can't check what his health is at, but...
You, here, now.
I can trade? He just let me put some bullets in his pocket. Well, that's kind of weird, but I now have a nice little pet scorpion who's gonna follow me around. So, move over, dog meat. This guy's got double the amount of legs, which logically means he can survive a couple of more landmines before he becomes unable to move. So that's a big plus. Plus, he's immune to radiation as well. Actually, is dog meat, is he like a actual synth dog, so he's immune to it? But anyway, so we'll bring this home. I don't think it'll have the reception that I'm quite looking for, but I think you get the point. So that there was the SG55032, depending on which barrel it is. It's the Grau 5.56. It's a really fun weapon mod. It's really well made. I think balance-wise, using it with a suppressor and stealth commando, you're gonna just crush everything, especially when you're able to utilize it at a longer range with a little bit of magnification. But if you do utilize the unsuppressed versions with the 30-round magazine, I feel like it's slightly better in terms of its balance. So I suppose it's really up to the user to balance it themselves. And you could always use the lesser receivers if you feel like it's too much here. That's something that I didn't consider earlier. But that's about it for this video. I can't put this weapon away, otherwise Rad Scorpion will get pissed off with me again. So we'll just leave it off there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.